Mark, we'll come to that shortly, okay? So, today's session, the laptop recruiter. It is, as it says on the tin, we are focusing on building a laptop recruitment business. So about 70% of companies who come to me, by companies I mean size 1 to 3, 4, 5 people, want to have a business that's doing really, really good figures, but they want to be working from their laptop. So I'm going to be sharing some really awesome strategies with you and also case studies and some really cool bits. But for those of you who know me, I don't do passive. I don't do sitting back, fiddling around on Facebook. I don't do basically wasting your time and mine. So shut down what's around you. Let's take the next 60, 70 minutes. Let's get this on point. So I'm actually going to be creating a project focus for your business, a project focus. Now, again, you should have the workbook. It's been emailed to you. It's been emailed to you. And we're going to be actually filling this out as we go. So as we go through, we're actually going to complete the 9 projects that you need in your business, the 9 projects in your recruitment stroke search business that will give you a high 6-figure, 7-figure, and this isn't some BS, this is what is being used right now, but we're going to give you the 9 projects to build this business and build it virtually. Now, as you go through, in your workbook, you've got the following sheets here. We've got a set of action pages, So these are 9 projects we're going to fill out. My apologies, a bit of a delay there. So these are 9 projects you're going to fill out. So you come out of here with a plan. Now, as we go through, in your workbook, you've got these pages. So what I want you to do is this. Under Project 1, so when I talk about Project 1, I want you to detail what the name is, the insight that you've taken, the action you're going to be applying in your business, then any questions. And the questions I'm going to answer at the end, okay? So any questions you've got, I'm going to answer them. So let's make this an implementation workshop, not some just sitting here wasting an hour of your time. Change is going to come about by doing that. And then some Tony Robbins thing, it's fact. So go to these pages inside your workbook. As we go through each project, detail the project name, the insight, the action that you can take away now, any questions you've got for me, and I'll answer them head on. So loads of people still coming in. Final time, this isn't passive. In your workbook, detail the project name, the insight, the action, your questions for me, and I'll take them head on. So while we're here today, big question, the laptop recruiter, so what is it? So most people in recruitment know me as the inbound or the automation guy. So the biggest names in recruitment actually asked me to help build their businesses in the background also. So my background is digital strategy, has been since 1996. I've been in recruitment just short of a decade now, 100%. And the laptop recruiter, what does this mean? So 95% of companies who come to me are size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looking to essentially get to their first half mil, their first mil, then on to 2 or 3. That's what they're looking to do. And of those, about 70% actually want to have a business. They might be working from home now, but they want to have a business that runs essentially from their laptop. We've also got members who are in an office, and they've got an office maybe starting off with 3, 4, 5, and then within a year it might be 10. If that's how they want to do it, absolutely cool. We've got clients who are doing 60 million, but most of our members are those looking to break a mil for the first year. In every case, whether you're looking to break a mil for the first time, or indeed you're looking to get to 2 to 3, or indeed go from startup to your first 250, every single time it's going to be 2 things that make it happen: systemization and automation. Now, the reason why it's called the laptop recruiter is because you might have seen me survey. I've got a book coming out around this, and about 75% of people who respond to the survey, Andy, what you actually do, that's inside my membership, you're showing us how to build a virtual business and get to 7 figures. So that's why we're here, the laptop recruiter. But whether you want a laptop business or not, again, write this down. There's 2 things that are going to make it happen. 1, automation, and 2, systemization. You're still going to need to speak to clients, but 80% of what you do, you should not be doing. You shouldn't even be doing speaking with clients. You shouldn't be doing the candidate sourcing. So what we're really talking about, laptop recruiter is a nice, sexy name. Underneath it is a lot of strategy, which means about you working on the business. Now, why are we here today? So what used to work in recruitment no longer works. So you might know it in your own business, but it's like a ghost town. It's a ghost town. And I believe we're now on the start of a period whereby recruitment will become like the wild, wild west. There's a lot of bullshit out there. A lot of people don't walk the walk in their own business. But what used to work no longer works. So for me, I've seen 5 key signals over and over again that demonstrate there's a problem here. There's a problem here in your business. And those 5 key signals really break down to, let me just bring my iPad, break down to the following. Let me see if we can just add this here. So guys, let me know when you can see my iPad. Just give me a hell yeah in the chat box when you can see it. So again, whether you're looking to actually create a laptop business or indeed get to 7 figures, it's going to be the process that allows you to do this. And by process, I mean systemization and the automation. So we've got these shifts going on, and there's these signals that pop out every single time. Every single time. So these are the shifts, and these are the signals that I've seen. Number one, if you've got processes which are generally you're doing them, they're manual, you're the point of failure and you're the point of success. You've probably got a business that's not scalable. If you take 4 or 5 weeks off your business and it stops running without you, you haven't got a business, you've got a job. Next, if you're speaking to clients one-to-one, so role comes in or you need roles, you're either speaking to the candidate one-to-one, you're speaking to clients one-to-one. That isn't a business that's scalable. You may have the up and down months, feast and famine, warning sign. If you find yourself actually working in a business whereby you're continually under stress, you've probably got a job more so than a business. So what do we need to do to get this laptop business set up? Well, number one, we need to shift quickly into automation. So we expect when someone on board with us, literally in the first week, you got your first automation up and running, bringing the leads inbound. You may have seen the video we put out with Trevor Renner this week. Trevor's getting 1,000 candidates in his inbox a day. That's a day. Now, he's in a big transactional marketplace in the nursing industry. Andy Bourne is in a much more micro niche, but using a similar process, he's getting more leads in with him and a virtual assistant and one piece of automation than his previous team of 7. So automation is key. Now, next, you need to know what your role is. You're actually not a recruiter. And you might sit there now and be spitting at the screen. You're not a recruiter. You're a business owner. Your job is to run a business, not to be a recruiter. And that's a fact. Next, it's easy for me to say this, but it's a phrase that I've been coining now for the last 6, 7 years. One to many. Why would you have a conversation 50, 60, 70 times and repeat yourself? Why would you have a one-to-one process to sit there at night on your mobile, click and connect to people? Why would you do that? Feast and famine. We don't want this. We want predictability on 2 scales. 1, clients. 2, candidates. We need to know. So you'll see my next podcast coming out on iTunes. Go and listen to it, or the next 2 or 3. And it's about predicting the future. So at the beginning of every month, you should know exactly at the end of the month how many leads you got coming in, how many candidates you got coming in. And indeed, that then breaks down into how much you're going to earn. You should be able to predict this. But 99.9% of business I speak to do not. And from stress, it comes down to your role in the business. You are a business owner. You're a business owner. You are not a recruiter, and this is key. So what it comes down to is your role as a business owner, and this is absolutely fundamental whether you're running a laptop business or an office business, because it's the systems and automation that allows you to work from your laptop. It allows you to work. So you may have seen Keith Southern working 6 days a week to 2 days a week by having more revenues ever had in recruitment. How does that happen? It happens because of the process and systemization. So let's get into this and let's power through this. As we go through, by the way, guys, any questions, capital Q in the chat box. And what I'm going to do is answer every single one, okay? So let's get through this and we'll do this at the end. So why are you here today? Well, I know exactly why you're here today because I've spoken to thousands of recruitment business owners just like you. Search business owners just like you. Lots of names on here I recognize. There's lots of new names also. And there's lots of funny names. So I can't repeat a couple of them, but yeah, it's good. Welcome. But typically, when someone comes to me in recruitment, the first criteria, well, I've been with Andy Whitehead 3 months. Is it working? The first thing you're going to judge success by being with me is money. How much revenue you're bringing in. And that's fact. It's how much money you're bringing in. The next criteria would be, Andy, great. You know, I've gone from doing 250 to 500K, but how do I get out of the business? How do I actually get my life back? How do I get more time with my kids? It's going to be time. Next, then it's going to be significance. What do I mean by that? I mean absolutely dominating your niche, crushing your niche. In short, I hate to say it, guys, it means ego. But the first criteria that everyone who comes to me is, and I'm very open about this, and I want to know exactly what we're dealing with, your success criteria with being with Andy Whitehead is money, how much you're bringing in. But trust me, every single time, once you hit these figures, then it will become time. Then it will become significance. So the first thing I want to do right now is I want us to get clear on what the constraint is, either preventing you from having a laptop business or indeed you're here, I guess, to earn more revenue. In fact, do this. In the chat box now, why are you here? Is it more money? Is it time? Is it actually working from a laptop? Is it because I've heard these case studies, I spoke to so-and-so? Why are you here? Let me know. Just put in the chat box now. Let's bring up my iPad again. Just let me know why you're here. Just bringing up my iPad while you do that, guys. More fees, yeah, sure. Time, more money, Tom. Revenue, more time. This laptop thing. Revenue. Yeah, so most of you are saying more money, and that's normally the first constraint. The first constraint we need to fix. Let's focus on this. On your screen, you should be able to see my iPad again. What I want to do, first of all, is get some clarity from yourselves, and you can complete this afterwards. If you look back on your business in the last 12 months, if you think about, right, am I a niche business or am I a generalist search business? What have I been? Have I hit my targets? Have I not hit my targets? So for the last 12 months, you might do an X. So have I been a niche search business or have I been a generalist? I've been a generalist. Have I hit targets? No, I've missed targets. Have I been contingent or retained? So often I get people say, I want to go 100% retained. So John Salt, one of our members, hit that. And do you know what? He got fully retained and he actually didn't like it. He's leaving money on the table because the leads are coming in an automated fashion. The candidates coming in an automated fashion. It's online matchmaking. But have you been contingent? Have you been office-based when you want to be remote? Have you been a manager that mucks in, or have you been acting as a CEO? So I want you to go through this and detail where you've been, because the only time you're going to take any form of step forward is detailing what the gap is. So I want you to go through that. So if you've been working in the business, or indeed you've been working virtually, you've been working in-house, how have you been working for the last 12 months? Now next, where do you want to be in the next 12 months? So actually, I know that niche is king. I want to go fully niche. It's like hit revenue targets. Of course I do. I've got a figure of 500K in my mind. Retained exclusive. I'd love to get 75% retained. Okay, great. Remote or laptop? Yeah, I want to be working 4 days from the laptop, and I have 1 day completely off. Okay, great. Whatever it might be next 12 months. But what we got here, guys, is a gap. So every time we get a new member, the gap, the how to fill that gap, that's my job. My job is to create these strategies, prove them with my team in the Philippines, test them with 5 of my inner circle members. The gap is Andy's job. But your job right now, and if you're not doing this, and clearly you're not taking your business seriously, your job is to detail, right, where have I been the last 12 months? Where do I want to be to the next 12 months? And that gap is what we need to fix. That gap is what we need to fix. So some of you are going to say, well, Andy, the gap is, you know, I've got 0 systems. I know that I've got a problem with clients, or I don't know what your gap is. You're all different. But you need to go away and do that. You need to go away and do that. So I want you to complete that and get a sense of what your own gap is, because you're all different. You're all different in terms of what your gap is. And from the gap, you then have the strategy that fills that gap. Now next, we're going to power through this, guys. This gap is what we need to fill today, okay? You might have a good indication now. You might not have a good indication. I don't know. But that's what we need to fill. So as you know already, look, most of you know me. I speak incredibly quick, very, very passionate about this. And we're going to be moving extremely quickly. Now, what I'm going to give to you is this. At the end of this, I'm going to give you 6 videos. I am on exactly how to implement this. I'm going to give you a plan, a report. I'm going to give you 50 audio sessions. I'm going to give you a whole host of things, but I'm going to be moving extremely quickly. So at the end of this, simply type in your details right at the end, then all in one go, bang, you're going to get these, okay? Now, what we're going to be covering really, really quickly. Number 1, the 3 core mistakes that are made typically by UK, USA, and indeed global recruitment search businesses. Next, I'm going to give you the 3 phases, the 9 projects that create a laptop recruitment business. Now, these come from real-world examples. So if you go on my website, click on client results, you've been on iTunes, you've heard all the names, these guys who are now famous. I'm going to take you through how they've done it. I'm going to give you the 9 projects. I'm going to show you how to apply it. I'm going to come out with a set of action steps for you, okay? So we come out with a plan, as opposed to just being passive. Now, most of you know me, so I'm going to zip through this. So I'm known as the inbound, the automation guy in recruitment. That's actually changing. You know, we actually create recruitment businesses from the ground up, sometimes from startup, not mostly recruitment businesses have been going for anywhere from a year to sometimes 30 years, and then the times have changed. So my ideal avatar is someone who is maybe a size 1-man business to size 5, basically looking to get to the mill in the next 12 to 24 months. That's where they're looking to get to, depending on where they start and point. Now, in terms of briefly me, so my background since 1996 is digital strategy. In those days, I had a team at one point of 75, the largest implementation in Europe at tender age of 26. I said, I've been in recruitment now, it's pushing a decade. Started off being in LinkedIn. I've now trained over 20,000 recruitment search business owners. I've got a team in the Philippines. I walk the walk on this. I live from my laptop. Indeed, before I got married, I had my beautiful daughter. I actually had a business whereby I was probably working 30 minutes a day with an automated set of processes, and it ran selling products, recruitment products. Then I got married and everything changed. But what I'm saying to you is I walk the walk on this. You might have seen the videos and the photos of my team in the Philippines. I live a laptop lifestyle. This is how I live and have done now for many years. Now, my recruitment and stroke search business owner clients, they are also, if they choose to, living that lifestyle. So the key here is I live this. I breathe this. Now, someone, I can't remember who, you probably all know Tim Ferriss, says, basically what you're doing, Andy, is you're showing us the 4-hour work week for recruitment. And I guess in a way that's what it is. But it's a lot more to it. We've got over 200 strategies at any one point. The point I'm making to you guys is there's a lot of bullshit out there. We walk the walk on this in our own business and in our members' businesses. This is some of my team in the Philippines. This is Boracay Island, top left-hand side. Go and Google Boracay Island. We stayed in the Shangri-La, so I took my team down there. They're in the Philippines, in Manila and Davao. Flew them over, and we had a week, quote, working in, well, look how beautiful it is. So to be honest, I go down there a few times a year. It's a bit of a jolly through expenses, but I walk the walk on this, guys, and you can too. So if you don't know me, our iTunes, our podcasts are typically #1 in the States and in the US. When we release them, we're just about to release another handful now. So you probably have a good indication this shit's real. Now, the guys in recruitment, like Roy Ripper, you might have heard about. Roy Ripper, so he's been tracking Andy for a long time, created 40 new clients by one of his online webinar strategies. This guy's, been in recruitment 20, 30, 40 years, training this stuff. He'd never seen this before. He said this new something is missing. Mike Walmsley, recruitmenttraining.com, is exactly the same. It goes on. This is when I met with some of my members in London. What an ugly bunch we are. But all of these guys, all those links below there, the case studies on that day. One of the guys, Jamie Clark, the guy next to me just here, he actually launched a campaign from his phone with his VA using our templates on LinkedIn, had 2 clients from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. come in. I'm showing you this because it's demonstrating we're the real deal here. So do listen to what we're going through. Do listen to what we're going through. Now I'm going to zip through who all these people are. You can go find them on a website. You can go into detail and whatever else you need to do. But then 24 hours of the planning session, we've got leads coming in. Why? Because we've got automation. We know how to use this. That's what you need to have a laptop business. This guy's had a 40K a week. He's only been with us a short period of time. Jamie Town, really, really cool guy. He's had 40K a week with his very first strategy with us. So the reason why I say this isn't to impress you, it's to impress upon you. We walk the walk on this, and I wouldn't make such an effort of demonstrating that, but we've had people try and copy us. We've had people try and actually take our training names. We've had people try and emulate us. We've had people try and get into my inner circle through backdoor ways. We've had to take legal action against. So I'm making this point. I wouldn't normally do that. It's not from ego. It's from demonstration and being demonstrable. We are the world leader in this, and that's how it is. So please, guys, take this seriously. You can have a laptop business. You can hit 500K. You can hit 7 figures. Why? Because there are members right now in my group doing it as we speak. And within weeks of actually applying this, they're getting crazy results. Now, I'm going to calm down a bit in terms of being a little bit peeved for people trying to copy what we've done. So the point is, the model wins here. The model wins, and I'm going to give you the model. It's not about being the most experienced. On my latest podcast that's coming out, I'd much rather have someone who comes to me with immense desire than they've got a degree in whatever it may be, an MBA, whatever it may be. That's why we don't typically take on startups, but when we have, they've killed it. So I'm all about the individual than I am about the actual background, because the process is laid out. But what I want to do now is give you the 9 steps, the 9 projects for you to have this. So, why are so many struggling? Why are you struggling? Well, first of all, there's 301,000 in America alone, recruiters, crazy. There's 26,000 businesses in the US alone. Now, whichever country you're in, the figures are crazy and it's growing. And guess what? You're all doing the same. Every time I speak to someone, we're different because, and I sit there and I want to give them a hug and a shake. You're not doing anything different. You think you are because you're in your bedroom, you're in your office, and it's all you see. You're not doing anything different. And we're now in a digital playing field, which is why I've evolved into what we are. My background isn't recruitment. I've not been conditioned. It's digital. I've now been in recruitment for pushing a decade, and now it's a digital marketplace. Now, the reason you're probably here, or the fear you've got, and it isn't to scaremonger, but it's a fact. I speak to hundreds of recruiters every year, and lots are going broke, and that's why they've come to us. Lots have got marriage problems. They're never seeing the kids, never seeing the wife. That gets into the whole stress of then taking it home and making rash decisions in work. And it's not down to you working less hours. It's not down to you working with bad intentions. So the effort you've got is incredible. We're the hardest working industry in the world, I believe. It's the model. It's the model. Why can someone come with me? If any of you guys have seen the video we put out of Ryan Walker from Walker Recruitment, he's doing 2K a month, he got to 25K a month, 75K, he got a £1 million tender. Why do we put that out? It's to demonstrate to people, if Ryan can do it, the gruffest, most Scottish, sweariest individual I've ever met, if he can do it, anyone can. And it's the model that wins, not the individual. And you've been set up to fail. So most of you on here now are probably Recruitment 1.0. You probably do the following to get clients. And let me know in the chat box. To get clients, you probably go on LinkedIn, you have referrals, you send an MPC, you pick up the phone, and you do something around that. To get candidates, you go on LinkedIn, you send out emails, you send an email blast, you contact former candidates, and you try and get referrals. You may go on job boards, God forbid. You're doing it the old way. Now, there's this new breed of individual out there. Oh, we got this LinkedIn training, or go and build a lead magnet, or SEO, or pay-per-click. What a load of bollocks. Your client does not sit there searching for you on Google. I really need a recruiter. They're inundated with recruiters. Your candidates don't sit there. SEO is absolute garbage. They don't sit there looking for you. And that's what really boils my blood, and why I've really had to make the point to set the tone. I'm peeved with people, A, trying to copy us, but B, giving misinformation. So where are we? We're in Recruitment 3.0, which we own. No one else is doing what we do. 3.0. Even the last 6 to 12 months, it's changing. It's changing. It's changing rapidly. So every single month, we create 2 to 3 new strategies. I wish we didn't have to, but we have to, because the marketplace is always evolving. And most of the strategies I create are from other industries or completely innovative, and then we're applying to recruitment. The marketplace is always changing. So there are 3 signs you might be able to relate to, that you're leaving serious fees on the table, or indeed, you've got a bit of a challenge going on in terms of your business. So what I want to do is bring up this sheet. I want to bring up this sheet. I want you to detail what the topic is, i.e. the problem, and I want you to be very open with yourself. This is the problem I've got. This is the impact. So it's pointless just being passive. I want you to detail, right, this is the problem I've got. This is the impact of my business. Now, sign number 1. If you're using LinkedIn emails, job boards, reverse engineering the steps, then finding out the decision maker, making ad hoc calls, email blasts, you're doing the same as everyone else. Sign number 2. If you do not know the size of the market, if you don't know exactly how many clients and candidates are in your marketplace, for example, there are 30,000 clients and there are 50,000 candidates, and in your database you've got 5,000 clients and 5,000 candidates, there's a massive gap, yes? If you don't know those metrics, you are not treating your business as a business. If you haven't mapped out your entire marketplace and have that data set in your database, then you haven't got a business. You've got a job that means you're busy on LinkedIn. It means you're busy on emails, you're busy on the phone. You haven't got a business. Now, again, when I shared this with my members, and John Salters, a guy, said, I can't believe what you just said to me. It's going back a few years now. To me, this is common sense. But in recruitment, it's like, there are 30,000 clients in your marketplace. How many are in your database? 1,000. So that's 29,000 gap. Why? Why? Next. If you're doing all the work, or indeed your consultants are doing all the work, or they're picking up the phone, or all the stuff that essentially you think gets you clients or gets you candidates, if you're doing it, or indeed your consultants are doing it, you're wrong. We've got members who've got 60 consultants, or one member rather, organization, 60 consultants in their business. Their recruitment consultants do not go on LinkedIn, connect with people. Their recruitment consultants don't go out there and build data sets. It's done in the background. Your consultants, or indeed you, should be doing the high pay and fees, fee elements, fee tasks to start with. So if you want to be doing 100K a year, that's £50 an hour. 500K, £250 an hour. Or whatever your metric is. So you shouldn't be doing these tasks. Your consultants shouldn't be doing these tasks. I'm just gobsmacked the way recruitment works. But also, it gives us the edge because we're coming from a completely different angle. But if you're doing this, you've got a problem. You're doing the same as everyone else, and it's not scalable. So the fact is, if you've got multiple gaps from what we've just drawn here, chances are your model's broken. You're not going to hit your targets. You're no different. 1 in 20 contacts on LinkedIn are recruiters, but we all think we're different. It just frustrates me. So if you've got these up and down months, if you've got this lottery approach to your business, you haven't got a business. You've probably got go for a good 2-3 months, so you turn the corner, and then you think you've got it. Yeah, next year we're going to make this plan. If we have 6 months in a row like that, we're going to hit it. And guess what? We have 4 dry months, and then the pain kicks in and the panic kicks in. So if you do the sourcing yourself or do the candidate side yourself, you've got a job. Now, I really want to ram this home and hopefully hit you right between the eyeballs. Shit, that's what's going on in my business. So let's get this fixed together now. So we're going to do the following. Those of you who know me, it's all about implementation. It's all about implementation. Now, I understand the slides maybe are being a little bit out of kilter. So this is what we're going to do. Go through theory first, then application. So there are 3 phases we're going to go through. Now, these aren't 3 phases that I've sat here and created on a piece of paper and gone, that sounds sexy. These are 3 phases that are now building 75 recruitment stroke search businesses into 7-figure business as we speak. They've built hundreds already. These are proven. So the first phase is attract. Is actually getting the foundations in place for inbound. Next, automation. Automation for both the client side and the candidate side. Next is acceleration. This is where you should be moving out of the business. Out of the business. So the first off, phase 1, the 3 projects. So the 3 projects to attract clients and candidates, the key thing, inbound. Inbound. So number 1, the 3 reasons why you've not got the clients and you haven't got the candidates. Number one reason is this. Your pipeline of clients and candidates is not a process. You haven't got a database. You haven't got the map. So client type A matches candidate type A. So say a role comes in from client type A, you should be able to access your data set and go, yeah, I've got 467 candidate type A, as opposed to go on LinkedIn and panic and try and find them. Next, number 2, you haven't got the systems for campaigns. So campaigns are, I need clients now, I need candidates now. That's a campaign. I don't mean build a landing page in an ebook, which is going to take 4 weeks to get anything happening. I mean now, within 24 hours. You saw the James Blackwell earlier. In 24 hours of the planning session, he got his client leads coming in. Why? Because we had assets we could leverage, data, and a first piece of automation. Number 3, you've got no real differentiation. So take this head on. Your clients, your candidates have always got options. From a client perspective, they've got other recruitment businesses, they've got PSLs, preferred suppliers list, and internal recruiters. You need to take that head on. So the outcome we want from project 1 is the following. We want to install client and candidate data sets, we want to map the market, and we want to match data, i.e. candidate type A to client type A, so we can attain those leads in an automated fashion. Project 2, we want to build authority. So you're the number 1. So you may have seen Bill McKay, one of my members, brand new business, brand new business area, Internet of Things. Within 12 months, he was referenced the top 10 influencer in the world in the Huffington Post and in Forbes magazine, and the only recruiter in the top 10. Pretty cool, huh? So we want you to be that number 1. Third project, we want to outposition the competition. If you ever get onto a call or a meeting and you then get all the objections of, we've got a PSL, we've got other options, or come back to me in a month, yeah, you shouldn't even be speaking to them. You speak to the A's, not the B's and the C's. So what I want you to do is bring up this sheet here. Bring up this sheet here. Let me know when you've got that. It looks like this. Let me know if you got that okay. Cool. So this is what let me change pen. There we go. So project 1, we want to fill your client and candidate funnel. So again, what does that mean? If there's 30,000 clients in your marketplace, I want you to have a database of 30,000 clients. If there's 50,000 candidates, 50,000 candidates. If you've seen the video this week of Trevor Renner, he's getting 1,000 inbound in his inbox a day candidates. And that's the record. No, my podcast I put out on iTunes this week, I've said, is that a world record? I don't know anyone else from recruitment getting 1,000 inbound candidates in his inbox a day. But whether it's clients or candidates, but to do that, first of all, we need to get the data sets in place. We need to get databases in place. Now, if you don't have this, each time a role comes in, you go on LinkedIn, you do tasks which are manual, and then you drop the ball, and you forget about, if you're in client get mode, you forget about candidates. So what that means, you have up and down months. If you do have this in place, what you've got is predictability. Because you know, if you need candidate type A or clients at the moment, you access your data set. You don't drop everything you're doing. Now, by the way, we expect our members to have this up and running the very first campaign within 7 days, even if they've got a zero database. If you've got data sets, it's even more exciting. Project number 2, build an authority. So I mentioned Bill McCabe. So really what I want and what you should be looking for is to be a trusted advisor. A trusted advisor. Now, if you don't have this in place, what happens is you're always chasing. You're always chasing. And you're getting that familiar rejection. You know, lots of strategies that we've created over the years. I effing hate sales in any way. You know, if I ever speak to someone who comes to us and eventually has gone through all the different filters, it's a case of, right, I just want to see if you're a fit for us, and vice versa. But they come to us, and that's what you must have with your clients and your candidates. Now, if you have got this in place, what you've got is that role as number 1 in the marketplace, and it completely changes the dynamic. You'll be asked to speak on podcasts. You'll be asked to speak on stages if you want it. You don't have to. But you want that positioning. Bill got all expenses paid trip to Las Vegas by IBM. 5 days. Pretty cool, huh? Project 3, we call this a CAS, Client Attainment System. So even before you speak to a client, so consider this. Mr. Client, so we've been in recruitment 17 years, and we can get you the best candidates and Java developers on Wall Street. Okay, great. You sound like everyone else. Mr. Client, on Wall Street right now, there are 11,462 Java developers. There's 424 with 𝐏2EE experience at Goldman Sachs. In our database right now, we have 97.2% of that covered. We've got a 24/7 inbound system that allows us to get a 97.8% inbound reply within 24 hours of the new role coming to us. What does that mean to you? Number 1, we don't damage your brand by using crappy LinkedIn emails and chasing the candidate. Number 2, it means we've got authority. The candidates come to us. And indeed, number 3, we've got the candidates which are not on the marketplace, but they are in our database. Compared to what your other partners do, i.e. like other recruitment businesses, et cetera, et cetera. So we do this with a client attainment system. So we send this. So even before you speak to anyone, they've got all this. So all the other options are gone. So you need to have this positioning. So the third project is your client attainment system. If you don't have this in place, if you haven't got your client attainment system in place, what you're going to get is objections, and you're probably going to chase. If you do have your client attainment system in place, what you're going to get, quite simply, is you're going to get the roles. The objections have been overcome before you even speak to anyone. So this then first starts off as it's a system to start with, then into a video and a webinar and all this cool stuff. So what we want to be getting is we need to get these projects in place. So project 1, the database. We need to understand the avatar. Who's the client? Who's the candidate? Number 2, we need to map the market. Number 3, we need to build the data sets. This is over here. Project 2, number 1, we need to use a strategy maybe like the Maven strategy. A Maven strategy is a strategy that we've used and we created about 5 years ago, which in short allows us to walk on the shoulders of giants. So why is it we can get people who are members of the United Nations, members of Parliament? These guys are huge names in whatever industry you're in, and they will talk for free on a webinar, on a podcast. Why? Because we've got a process that allows us to do this. So you might use a Maven strategy. You might use a one-to-many content strategy. You don't write a word of the content, and strategy is automated. Number 3, the CAS. We need to overcome the PSL. We need to overcome the other options that your recruitment target has. And remember, we want to differentiate ourselves 24/7, 365 inbound. We've got 97.2% of the marketplace covered in our database. So we need this covered off. Now, I would go through in detail through every element of this, but I'm going to be conscious of time and respectful. So there are 3 projects that give us the base that allow us to dominate the marketplace. So imagine you had a database of 50,000 clients, 60,000 candidates. Imagine if you had an automated content strategy that works while you're asleep, that then drives traffic back to your website that goes into an automated funnel. Imagine you've got a client attainment system, so you are the natural option. So you only actually speak to people who've A, come into your inbox, and B, they've been through your client attainment system, and then you speak to them. So they're so pre-qualified. That's what we're looking to do. So that gives us the base foundation for Attract. So I'm trying to condense about 8 years of strategy into about 7 minutes in this first part. So the Attract this gives us a foundation. This gives you the foundation to have a 7-figure business. Without this, you're going to be chasing your tail. Fact. So I want you to make a decision, or be clear with yourself. Draw a little traffic lights if you want. Where are you? Which of these is amber? Which of these is green? Which of these is red? Be clear with yourself. Where are you? But if you don't have this in place, I guarantee you'll be in a webinar of mine in a year's time going, shit, still didn't do it. Still didn't do it. This is the foundation. We call it Attract because I like the words to just flow together. But it gives you the foundation for the attraction element. Without this, you won't have the attraction. Now, what I'm going to do is power on, but I notice a lot of questions coming in. I will answer every single one, but I want to get through the projects for you so we can get this project plan filled out. Now, if you've been following me for a period of time, my name's Andy Whitehead. I'm from recruitmentmarketinginternational.com. If you want help right now, there are 4 ways we can help you. Number 1, join the Laptop Recruiter Facebook group, as I just said. Number 2, watch any of these on-demand client and candidate automation, inbound and growth webinars, whether it be the Laptop Recruiter, whether it be the $1 Million Recruiter, plus the hundreds and hundreds of other podcasts you can find on iTunes, on our website, on YouTube, etc. Number 3, if you want to reach out to me personally, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, often you guys reach out to me, you've been following me now for 8 years, now's the time. If you've got a question for me, send me a message on Facebook or on LinkedIn, I'll come back to you personally. Or number 4, if you're now ready to become a client, simply schedule a call, head to our website or head to the Laptop Recruiter Facebook group and then reach out to me personally inside there, and I'll give you my diary and let's book a call. So with that said, guys, I'll see you inside the Laptop Recruiter group. Let's do this.